Okay, thanks for remaining with us. The analog electricity metering system is gradually being phased out in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, with many homes and even businesses now using this facility.
But the reactions of the users are mixed on its benefits. Lara Afolayan reports now.
The prepaid metering system for electricity is to end estimated billings for consumers. It is also to help boost government revenue. Some Abuja residents complain that prepaid meters have been installed on their walls but are yet to be activated. They yearn to have these meters working as the old billing system is draining their financial resources.
Where I live, they say we should not go and pay for any prepaid meter. We should not pay any money. We just hold on, they will bring it for us, it's free. Okay. So we are expecting the prepaid meter. We have not seen the prepaid meter. And we like to use prepaid meter because of the light bill. Every time you will see the bill, they don't bring the same kind of bill. Maybe this month they will bring 10,000, the next month 20,000. So we prefer the prepaid meter, but we have not seen it for past 2-3 months now.
They have sent a bill for me when the meter was not working, and actually by then I was not living at the house. I was off by then, and they sent the bill almost close to 80,000, which is I didn't use the light. So therefore I went to the office to ask how far about this meter, this bill preparation. So actually I'm not happy about it.
But it's a case of different strokes for different folks. Some of those who already use the prepaid meter complain of high tariffs. They would rather go back to receiving estimated bills.
So far, I've not enjoyed it at all because the tariff is really high. Yeah, that's why I'm not enjoying it. I think what I use, like they give me, I pay for something more than what I use, you understand? Before you know the thing is out, and I don't know what I did with it, and it's just out all of a sudden.
They have been promising. Today we have 1 million prepaid meter, tomorrow we have 2 million. We have not seen any. So I want to ask them, please, or may I use this opportunity to appeal to them? I know times are hard. They should try and help us to get that prepaid meters. We are ready to have it. I think it's to our good.
The electricity consumers who have yet to have the prepaid meters installed for their use want the power authorities to do something about this. Existing prepaid meter users say the tariffs should be adjusted lower in interest of the common man. Lara Afolayan, TVC News, Abuja.
You know, when it comes to this prepaid metering estimated, Nigerians have so much stories to tell over the years, from the days of NEPA to PHCN and then to all the things they have now.
According to that report, Nigerian consumers are asking for lower tariff, while the discos are asking for so-called cost-reflective tariff. Well, we have joining us this morning Deputy Convener, Joint Action Front, Achike Ochude. He's in the studio with us. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Achike, good morning. It's good to have you now.
Yeah. Now, lawmakers are actually saying that because discos are bankrupt and cannot procure meters, the entire privatization process should be looked at again. Is that the fundamental problem, or is there more to it?
Well, it's fundamental. I mean, the whole thing is funny, ironical, not a surprise to me, because we had warned Nigeria as a Joint Action Front, JAF, and the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUI, had embarked on a massive series of demonstrations and protests before the privatization exercise, kicked in, warning Nigerians that this will be the consequences of privatization and putting this in private hands, that this exactly was going to happen. It's not going to be, in spite of everything they had told us about efficiency, reduced cost, and the rest, and of course, availability of energy. We do not have any of this, and I remember we had moved from it, I think then the NS Secretariat all the way to Lagos Island to the electricity company there in protest and the rest. And people kept on saying, those Nigerians who did not know, were saying, well, it has happened in the telecom sector, let us have this. So we said it's not the same thing. They did not have to kill, Nitel essentially in order to have this. But
didn't Nitel die?
Well,
natural death for that matter.
It was killed, of course, just like most other, public enterprises and so. But the basis of the argument, has always been that, well, we can't keep on spending money on public infrastructure, public enterprises, and the rest. So the best way, to avoid that is just to privatize them. It's more efficient, and so these are stories. I mean, what is happening bears us out. The reality is that, the kind of money that is still being given to private, the private sector in the electricity, to the being put in private hands in the electricity sector is astronomical. Recently, about 701 billion, naira was given to them. Private enterprises.
Which is being owed.
Yeah, private enterprise. What is being that? These are the stories they tell us every day. Do you understand? And then the year before that, the same thing. These are monies that are not, owed them. Look, the reality is that the whole electricity, infrastructure in this country is collapsing. And of course, we've had instances where we had unprecedented loss of energy in this country in a way that had never happened before. And so what they do is just to blackmail the government. Look, if you don't give us more money, the entire electricity infrastructure in this country is going to collapse. So they put more money there. And ultimately, at the end of the day, these monies I don't see them, bringing in, the kind of infrastructure, that's in consonance with the amount of money they have collected and so on. And then again, the continuous arbitrary increase of electricity bill is also one of the major problems, the most critical.
All right. We have read stories or reports where in Kenya, in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire, they have arranged, even in Zimbabwe, where new cities or new villages that have never had light, light is drawn there and the infrastructure is put in place and all of that. Yeah. They're opening up new places, lighting up new cities and all of that. In Nigeria, the way things are year in, year out and so on, is there somebody benefiting from the status quo of things where anything, energy, power generation is not really working?
Somebody called it organized chaos. What is going on in this country. Of course, you were talking about, the other time, you were talking about the issue of kidnap and the rest. There is a systemic structural problem in this country. If you do not address these issues, you're not going to get a country that works. It's as simple as clear as that. And so, for instance, you have, look, I was at an event organized by some civil society organization some time ago, and there was a former energy minister that came there. I was one of the participants and so on. And the resolution of the entire thing, even after the former minister had talked about the crisis in the energy sector, what was resolved, the summary of the whole thing was that it's not going to get better, even with the minister there and his submissions. In fact, that was when we realized that in terms of electricity tariff, that Nigeria has about the highest in the whole of Africa. And yet we do not see the light. This is what is going on in the country. And so, as far as I am concerned, because I have been involved in the struggle, in the energy sector, all kinds of protests have been involved in it as one, different communities. At the other time, it was the Mafoluku, Ajawo Estate, Osho, the community. In Ajegule, the same thing. Yaba, in fact, it has gotten to a level where these communities are saying, no, this is not a matter of privilege. It is a matter of right. If you don't give me energy, you cannot tell me to pay for something I did not consume, because it's a clear-cut case of 419. So you have an unusual situation where the Ministry of Power, and then the National Electricity Regulatory Commission that are supposed to protect the interests of Nigerians with regards to electricity are in a conspiracy with private sectors, to steal money. And I mean, there are not two ways. I don't have time, for flowery words. It is criminality, what we are seeing, stealing money from Nigerians. And I have practical experience. I was staying somewhere in Oregon not too long ago.
You think, for example, let me cut in here. You think an NERC, the Electricity Regulatory Commission, the regulators of the power sector, Minister of Power, BRF, and the DISCOs, the GENCOs, and the TCNs, and all of them are happy with the way the things are.
It will appear so.
Now, according to Fashola, only 6 million Nigerians actually have access to power.
No, let me tell you, look, when you obtain something under false pretense, it's 419.
It's as simple as that. Now? Who in this case? Is it the DISCOs?
The DISCOs, that is what they're doing. I was just giving a practical example. I was living in a place, 3-bedroom apartment, and I was being given a bill of around 35,000-40,000 a month. It was estimated billing. I contested it, but of course you don't win these arguments. I moved to a place where I have a prepaid meter. Maximum, a bigger place. Maximum I pay about 3,500 naira. Practical example.
A month.
You understand? A month. And this is what is happening. You have people in small shops with just one fridge. You know, and you're asking them every month, you're asking them to pay 16,000. If they don't pay the 16,000, you cut them off. You understand? And unfortunately, that is the problem we have with monopoly, because you have monopolies on ground. So they do not have, it's like when one of the network providers, for instance, in telecom sector, is messing up and is not, you know, operating efficiently, you just switch over to the other one.
To the next one.
Now you cannot do that, so you are tied into these exploiters, you know,
you are their mercy.
Of a common patrimony. You are their mercy. And so and it is all over the country. They are reaping maximum reward for giving nothing. And now there's this talk about them wanting to increase, you know, the tariff. And so you have a neck. When you have a neck, you have a ministry, a minister of, you know, power. And this you know, daylight robbery has been going on for so long, and it can only be because they are in collusion with the discourse.
Okay.
That is the only summation you can have.
I
for
wonder
this.
what
All right,
the way forward would be.
Yeah, let me put you on hold. Let's bring in Foladele to give us a perspective on how people are reacting. Where's Foladele to...
Foladele, where are you? Let there be light.
And there was
or will there be light at the end of the tunnel?
I hope so.
One of the questions Nigerians are asking.
Would we have to pay for light that we're not seeing? All right, let's find out what Nigerians are saying online. Good morning, Achike Chude.
Good morning.
BoEffect says implementing that directive is a whole different ballgame entirely. King M says this prepaid meter thing safe.
That's the Nigerian way of putting it.
Charles Otobo says, as for me, I will never pay any estimated bill again. Get me my prepaid meter. Okay. Edu Oluwatobi says, my last payment would be the last. Let them come disconnect me till I get metered. Olamide Omoduni says, please give us light and don't charge us for what we don't use. Melting Heart says, say something about the unavailability of power. Why are we paying for darkness? Please help me understand. And that was a tweet at Ikeja Electric. And last one here from Ogbeide Nosa, he says, I pay my bills, but painful not to have power supply and outdated facilities that will call to report and yet no solution. I'm sure there's lots for you to talk about there, so I'll be on my way.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. Now, actually, in this situation, we have heard the new directive that customers under the maximum demand should not pay any bills if they have not been given prepaid meters. But the residents, those who are in the residential areas, are not included in this directive. Why the discrepancy?
Well, that's inconsistency some of us see daily in the country. Because, I mean, the reality is that if people using maximum demand meters are being exploited, and that's why you're giving this directive. Are you not aware that people using, you know, I mean, with ordinary, you know, metering, prepaid metering, are also facing the same thing? You understand? And so, is that inconsistency that does not make sense? I know a place that's using maximum demand meter. It's not a company, it's just made up of residences, 1 or 2 event arenas, and so they're being given a bill of 1.8 million naira every month. So by the time you share it, you know, some of the smaller, you know, those in one-bedroom apartment or self-contained apartments are being asked to pay 12,000 naira a month. You know, so these are the things I'm talking about. And it has gotten to a level people have been protesting over the years and are tired of protesting. And you can see from some of the tweets you're having that people have made up their mind about what they're going to do. I'm aware that the residents, the Ajao Estate community is now on warpath. They are now doing peaceful protests, and they are now, you know, they have refused to pay their bills anymore until they are given prepaid meters. And they have a right. Look, there was an agreement, you know, between the NEC, the federal government, the Ministry of Power. I mean, they were all involved in that discussion. They signed an MOU that after a specific period of time, every home must be metered in the country. You understand? And we have not seen that. That has not happened. You know why? Because they know what they have been stealing from the people. And so if they introduce prepaid meters all over the country, it is going to result in a massive fall in the revenues, illegal revenues that they are generating.
But the discourse will tell you that it is not in their own interest if the prepaid meters are not in use. And then you have in Benin, I mean, you just mentioned Ajao Estate in Lagos. Benin consumers are rejecting the prepaid meters. Now that's another problem in itself.
Unless the meter has been doctored, I mean, there's no way. I mean, all we have heard from people who are using, you know, from schools, from homes, and so on, is that, look, this is just the best because they are satisfied that this is what they are consuming.
All right, Achike Chude, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.